Hey guys, okay. Today I want to do something that I don't see a lot of people doing and it doesn't seem to be talked about very much. It's actually one of my whole purposes with this page is to try to bring things that are either very scattered and hard to find all in one place or just not talked about a whole lot into one cohesive place that people can learn about them. But today I want to talk about two separate things, and one of them is kind of a magical theory or a magical principle in hoodoo and folk magic, and the other is a technique that can help when you have a really stubborn target. So the first thing I want to say is this is a water spell. Now this is just regular old tap water that I have prayed over. I stuck it in the sunlight, I blessed it, so it is blessed, but there's really nothing super special about it. It's just water. Now you can do this kind of work with Florida water or holy water. It's not necessary to do a water spell. And in hoodoo of various varieties, different liquids and different substances have different properties. For example, when you want to sour or wear away something, you would use vinegar or lemon juice. When you want to preserve something or make it stay the same, you would use alcohol, usually very high proof, good quality rum, vodka, something like that. When you want to sweeten a situation, you might use maple syrup or honey. And water is specifically when you want to amplify, increase, enhance, or in some way make bigger or bring to being. It's water is the element of birth and death. It is about beginnings and endings, but it is also about feelings, emotion, and on all those unconscious things. It's an energetic amplifier, if you want to talk about it in more those terms. So this is a water spell. We're going to be using the water today specifically to just enhance and increase what we're doing. And I've got a bowl here. I'm using a bowl with this spell for a very particular reason, and that is that we're actually going to pour water into the bowl. So don't do this with a plate, it doesn't work nearly as well. Very messy. Okay, so next thing I've got for you here, I've got a purple candle. Purple, I like to use purple for the color of power, dominance, domination, and enhancing the energy level of just about anything in general. Now, it can also be used for several other things, but that is the property that we're interested in particularly today. The work that's being done here is specifically for when you've got a situation where somebody is just resistive to work, repeatedly resisting work. And it helps when you've got a situation where someone is like hot and then cold, or you do the work and then it seems like it works for a little while and it stops, and you've done clearance already, and you've done blockbusters already, and you've done road opening already, and that doesn't seem to be working. Sometimes you were just simply dealing with someone who is incredibly fundamentally stubborn. That is actually a magical thing that happens. So I have here a candle, it's purple. I have loaded it up, and by the way, for those who don't know how to load the glass candles, really simple. You drill a hole in the side, you put your herbs, your oils, your everything else, tuck it down in there, and it doesn't get in the way of the wick. You can burn it. I would especially be careful when loading these up with powdered substances, because the powders can close up the wick and make your candle go out. But you want to tuck everything down into that little hole, and then it doesn't clog your candle. You can get a nice clean burn and a good read on what's going on. So I have dressed this using specifically cloves, which corresponds again to domination and powder, and power. And I have used lavender, which is, it is a tranquilizing energy. It is about love in a lot of situations, but more than that, lavender is about peace, relaxation, and lowering of resistance. It can also assist with helping someone trust you. So I've loaded it with lavender for the purpose of trust. And then I have added patchouli. I always like to add a grounding agent to any work that I do, because the ideal goal is to make it happen in the real world. You don't just want something that's going to happen way out there someplace. You want it to really happen in the real world. So that's what this candle is loaded up with. In addition to that, I also used a Do As I Say oil. I actually get most of my oils from Conjured Cardia. Some of you might be familiar with her page. She makes fabulous oils. I don't make my own oils because that's just not something that I feel like I've got a talent with. And she does it beautifully. I found a couple other suppliers that do a beautiful, wonderful job, so I'm perfectly happy to support the hoodoo community and buy from them. But that's where I get most of my oils, and I used her Do As I Say and her Bend Over oil in this candle. So that's that. Now, the other thing that I've got here that you will need, this is a photograph of the particular person that my client is having me work on. And what I've got in here, I did not want to show you the picture just for privacy reasons, but what I've got in here, on the back of the photo, I wrote the name, the birth date, and then the words, this person, name and birth date, is under my power and my protection completely and to the exclusion of all others. And the reason that I wrote it that way, you can use whatever phrasing is comfortable for you, but the reason I wrote it that way is because the most common situation that I find when someone is just resisting work is actually fear. They are afraid of something. They are running from something. They don't trust you on some level. And so this petition here is on the back of the photo. I added more of the exact same herbs that are in the candle, and I added a personal effect, and I folded it up like this. It has been tied with a red string. Now, tip for those of you who are doing this at home, one of the things that I like to do in personal work that is just an increase for power with the string, you can use menstrual fluid, seminal fluid, sexual fluid, blood, something that is your own personal life force and source of energy. You can do that. Now, in this case, I don't want the person to be bound specifically to me, so this thread has simply been anointed with more of the do as I say and bend over oils. So what we're going to do to get this started is we're just going to put this in here, because that's already loaded up and prayed over. We're going to put the candle in here, because that's already loaded up and prayed over. And then what we are going to do is we're going to add just a little bit more of, this is the patchouli. I'm just putting a little more in there just to ground this work, to center it, to make it happen in the real world. I've also got a little bit more lavender flowers here, okay, for making this person peaceful and tranquil and completely susceptible to this work so they don't even know it is happening. That's what I'm doing. That's what I say to those herbs. You got to let the herbs know exactly what you want them to do, by the way. You can't just do ingredients and say, oh, you know, I threw things in a bath and it was supposed to do something and it didn't. Well, you've got to tell them what they need to do. Everything on God's green earth can be used for magic, but most of it can be used for multiple different types of magic. You got to tell it what you need it to do in that specific situation. And then, last but certainly not least, we're going to take water. And we're going to go ahead and just pour it in here. I'm going to fill it actually most of the way up. And this water is just to amplify the power of this spell, to send out ripples through the universe and into the life of the target. Please, creators, angels, guides, ancestors, let this come about in power and fruition in the life of the target, and let them be totally and completely dominated so that they submit to the work being done on their behalf. Amen. Very important to pray that. Very important to pray. And doesn't have to be my words. You use your words, you speak from your heart. That's what's most important, but you've got to connect with it. Throwing items together does not make magic. There is no combination of random things that is going to create magic without prayer, focus, love, energy, attention. So this is what we got here. I'm just going to reach over here and grab a match. Ooh, all right. I like it. Light her up. And that's it. And that is a 7-day candle that will burn down. You can just kind of leave that. Keep an eye on it, of course. Don't leave candles burning unattended in general. And I would say, leave me some comments, thoughts, questions. If you got anything, I would love to hear it. If you've used something similar to this and have different ideas or results, love to hear that too. Share this around. We are almost to 500 likes on the Hoodoo Delish page. Thank you so much for putting us up there. I really, really am happy about that. And I am going to give away a prosperity working when we get to 500 likes. So that's the big announcement. We're going to give that away. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.